In this video, we're going to review measuring angles just to get started with finding out how lines and angles relate to each other when working with transversals. Okay, so I'm going to line up the center of my protractor with the vertex, so this little vertex right here where the two lines intersect. I'm going to put that on the center, and then I'm going to line up either one of the lines, it wouldn't matter which one I lined up, with the bottom of the protractor. And then I'm going to come out and see that this hits at 60 and then it hits again at 120. So that means one angle is 60 and one angle is 120. So there's two ways we can do it. We can, since we're actually measuring and this is to scale, I can use my common sense and go, well, the acute side has to be 60 and the obtuse side has to be 120. So this smaller side has to be the 60 and the bigger side has to be the 120. Or remember, we looked at where the 0 is, and so the 0 is on this inside set of numbers on this side. So that means the angle on this side goes to 60. When I look at this other side, my 0 is on the inside here, and so when I look at the inside numbers here, I can see I'm going all the way to 120 for this side. Okay, so 60 right here and 120 right here. Okay, and then we could just flip it over and measure the other side, and when I measure the other side, I'm going to see it also goes to 60 and 120. So my 0 is on the inside and my 0 goes to 60. So this side, the left side this time, is 60 and my right side is 120, which should make sense, right? Because I know my vertical angles should be equal. So those are both 60 and those are both 120. And then angles next to each other should add up to 180. So 120 plus 60 is 180, 60 plus 120 is 180, 120 plus 60 is 180, and 60 plus 120 is 180. Okay? So now let's come down to this next intersection and see what happens down here. When I measure this one, I'm going to line up right there at the center. And when I measure it, I can see on the inside down here it lands between 80 and 90, so that's going to be 85 on one side, and then between 90 and 100, so that's going to be 95 on the other side. So 85 and 95, we need to know which is which. So look at where my zeros are. My 0 is on the inside here, so my 0, line up, my 0 goes to 85 on the inside arc. So that means this right-hand side, my 0's on the right, and that 0 goes to 85. So the right-hand side goes to 85, which means my 95 degrees must have been the left-hand side. And when I look on that one, when I line up, notice my 0 is on the outside set of arcs, and when I go around, I hit between 90 and 100, so 95 for this side. Okay, and now remember when we measured up here, we got the same thing underneath because we know our vertical angles are going to be equal. So I don't really have to measure down here. I know if this one's 85, this one down here will be 85. If this one's 95, this one across from it will also be 95. Okay. If I try that again, when I look at this next set, okay, if I want to find I, J, K, and M, so when I line up right here, okay, I can see on one side it's between 70 and 80, and then up here it's between 110 and 100. So my 0, let me make sure I'm nice and lined up, my 0 on the inside arc goes just past 70. And to see how many degrees past 70 it is, I'm going to come up here, and I know that 70 goes to here, and then it looks like it's about 3 tick marks further. So we're going to say that's 73 degrees on this side, which means I know it's going to be 73 degrees across from it, that vertical angle. Okay, so then get myself nice and lined up so we can measure this side. So now when I'm measuring this side, my 0 is on the outside for the left side. So when I go around, I can see I hit 100 right here. So then I'm going to 105, 106, 107. And you can check to make sure 107 and 73 make my linear pair of 180 on one side of the line. And then my vertical angle down here will be 107 degrees. Okay? All right, so then I'm going to come over here and let's measure this set of angles. So when I look at this one, and I line up right just like this, when I come and I look at my line, I can see I'm between 90 and 100. I'm almost right at 100. And then here I'm just past, I'm 1 degree past 80. So I need to see which is which side. Remember, my 0 is on the inside because it goes 0, 10. So my 0, so that means my right-hand side uses the inside set of numbers. So I'm going all the way to 90 and then almost to 100. It looks like it's 1 degree shy. So it's going to be 99 degrees on one side. And then on the other side, we're going to start with my 0, line up. We're going to start with my 0, which is on my left side, so I'm using my outside set of numbers, and I go 1 degree past 80, so this side is 81, and then you can check 81 plus 99 makes my 180 degrees, so that's correct. My vertical angles will be the same. Okay? Let's do a couple more. All right, let's look at this next one. So when I measure these, let me line myself up. My 0 is on the inside. When I'm looking at the right-hand side, my 0 is on the inside. So when I go around and I look at my inside, I land right at 120. So this side is 120, and the vertical is 120. All right, and then the other side, my 0 is on the outside, so I'm using the outside set of numbers, and I go to 60, so 60 degrees on this side. These two do add up to 180, so we're good. My vertical angle is 60 degrees. Okay, let's do the other intersection, because I have three lines, so that means 2 intersections, 8 angles. All right, when I measure this, for my right-hand side, when I look off to the right, my 0 is on the inside, so I use my inside arc of numbers, and I land right at that 120 again, which means this one down here is 120. That's the first time it's happened that my top angle, my first angle, has had the same numbers as my bottom angle. And then my other one should be 60 because they are supposed to add up to 180, but let's check and make sure that we hit at 60. So, oops, line up. When I come around, it's right there at the 60, so yes. 60 degrees and 60 degrees. Okay. One more set of practicing measuring angles, and then we'll move on. Okay. All right, so I'm going to measure. So I'm going to line up on the line. And then measure. So if I do the left-hand side first, my 0 is on the outside set of numbers, so I'm going to go with my outside set, and I go all the way to 80, which means the one across from it is also 80, those vertical angles. And then I'm going to line back up and see what I have on the other side. So now when I want to measure the right-hand side, my 0 is on the I'm getting lined up. My 0 is on the inside set of numbers for the right side, which means I'm using the inside set, which is right at 100, which makes sense because 80 and 100 make 180 for one side of this line. My vertical angles are equal. My angles next to each other should be supplementary and make 180. Okay, let's check down here. Okay, so when I want to measure this angle, and I come out, I see 180, 0. So I want to use these numbers. I'm going to hit right at 80. So that means this vertical angle is 80. Look, it happened again. 80, 80. So I know this one is going to be 100, right? Let's measure and make sure. So my 0, when I want to measure this side, so I come this direction, my 0 is the inside set of numbers, and I go all the way around, and I land right at 100. Just what I thought. Okay, So hopefully that helped you. Just a little practice on using that protractor, see where those numbers come from. Okay? Just some practice. On the next video, we're going to look and see what sort of relationship we can find between, remember on the last lesson, we talked about we have corresponding angles, we have alternate exterior angles, alternate interior angles, same side interior angles. We're going to see if there's any sort of relationship between these angles up here and these angles down here. Okay? Thank you so much for watching.